Hey friends, Allison here, dropping in to share with you some new creative inspiration for Scrapbook Nerd. Today I am playing with this die cut from Bella Boulevard, and I'm also going to be pairing that with pattern papers and some embellishments from Vicki Boutin's Fernwood collection. I didn't want to use the entire die cut from Bella Boulevard, so I'm going to trim off the very top portion of it where it says 100%. The cut file was really big, and I was trying to make it work with my photo, which I printed at home. It measures 8 by 10, I think, which is the biggest size that I can print with my printer. Actually, I don't actually think it is 8 by 10. I think it's more like 6 by 10. Obviously, as you can see, it's a picture of my husband's truck and one of the loads that he was hauling a while back in, I think, January. And I thought it was perfect for this layout. So the rest of the die cut says awesome on it, and I used the attached printed letters that the die cuts come with from Bella Boulevard. It makes backing your cut files a lot easier. There are instructions on the paper that walks you through how to do it, but basically, if you have never done it, all you do is roughly cut out the image first and then go back in afterwards and cut closer to the black line, and then you have a perfectly sized image to back behind the original die cut. I'm using my liquid adhesive to attach all of these papers to the phrase awesome, and like I said, I was using pattern papers from Vicki Boutin to back the cut file with. So it's going to go at the bottom. Actually, in the end, I think it goes at the top of the page. I played around for quite a while with placement on this layout. What I had originally designed on my computer to begin with was too small. It wasn't true to size at all, so I had to work with it a bit more off the computer to make it work. I did want to use this tag from Vicki Boutin, but in the end, I didn't use it the way I had originally wanted, but you'll see that later on in the video. So right now, I have everything figured out, including the embellishments where I want them to go, but I'm using a pencil just to mark and outline where the word awesome is going to sit, because just the plain white background was too plain. It felt like something was lacking. So I pulled out some Blueprint Distress Oxide ink, spray ink from Tim Holtz, and I sprayed that in the background. I did use a little bit of water from my spray bottle as well to enhance the distress portion of the spritz. All of these products can be found in the Scrapbook Nerd shop, so if you are looking for die cuts or Vicki Boutin or even distress oxides of any kind, you can definitely check them out in the Scrapbook Nerd shop. The white cardstock that I'm using actually also comes from the shop as well. So if you need cardstock, that's a great place to start. The nice thing about the die cuts from Bella Boulevard is if you don't have a die cutting machine, this is a nice alternative. So you can still get the same look of projects that were created using die cuts without actually needing to do the physical work to get it done, because it's already done for you. So this was a treat to use. If you followed me for a while, you know that I like using die cuts, specifically my Cricut, in my projects. And this was a fun exercise for me to stretch myself using die cuts that I didn't create myself. So as you can see, the word awesome is going above my photo. And then obviously the photo is at the bottom of the page. I love how the blue of the spray ink in the background really makes that die cut pop. And the blueprint, right, I think is what it's called. It really picks up the blue in the letter O of the word awesome as well. So yeah, it was perfect. Now I decided to use some craft foam to pop up the word awesome, just to give it a little bit of depth and dimension. And once again, I'm using my liquid adhesive to attach that to my layout. I find that using my ATG tape runner is not, it doesn't stick well enough and ends up falling apart shortly after, even while I'm putting things together. So shortly after I've put it together, or even while I'm putting it together. So the safest bet for me is always to use liquid glue to attach craft foam, especially if it's not one-sided adhesive. The stuff that I have isn't, so I have to apply glue to both sides. I did use a stapler to attach the vellum piece, the circle, onto the letter O, but the butterfly and the little phrase that goes in front of it will be attached with my ATG as well. Once that's done, I still felt like my layout wasn't complete. There's something, it felt off. I wasn't really sure what it was. So after I cut apart this tag, which I had tried squeezing in beside the title, the awesome, it didn't fit there. I decided to cut it apart and just use the floral portion as a strip to embellish the bottom of the photo. I actually used some washi tape that I had in my stash as well, which was navy blue, and it pulls out more of that blue at the top part of the layout. I layer that over top of it and then add the date and a couple other embellishments to finish off the bottom part of the layout. So, the point that I was trying to make was something about the layout still felt off, like it wasn't complete, especially at the top where the title is. I knew that I still wanted to add journaling and needed to add journaling, so I turned to my computer and typed out a few lines. I left enough space between each line so that I could trim them out and create strips. I didn't type my printing on cardstock this time. I just used my regular printing paper and then trimmed it out. I found after I had done that, this layout was complete. I honestly wasn't sure how I felt about this layout coming together at all. And I wasn't even really sure I liked it all that much, but after I added the journaling, I was quite happy with the end result. It's amazing how something so small makes such a huge impact and difference on a layout. You may not be happy with it as you're going through the creative process, but when you finally reach that last step and add the one other thing that you had planned on doing all along, it makes all the difference. So like I was saying, I'm working on embellishing the very bottom of the page here. I used one of the layered stickers, butterflies, to put at the bottom of the page. I'm going to stamp the date directly onto the photo, so I'm using my StazOn Jet Black ink to do that, and my date roller stamp as well. Even though this layout is about my husband, there are butterflies on it. He was giving me a hard time that I put butterflies on his layout, and some flowers too, but masculine layouts can have stuff like that in it. My husband was just being smart. Makes me laugh. But I told him it was okay because not all the colors in the papers were really girly either. It would work for both masculine and feminine layouts. So anyways, all that to say that even though there are some more girly elements in it, it still works for a guy layout. So here is the journaling, like I mentioned. I added it to my layout on an angle, same as the title and the photo as well. And it was just what this layout needed. It helped cover up some more of that blue so that it just peeked out in places rather than just one big blue spot. And like I said, I'm so happy with how this came out. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and a like. And if you're looking for any kind of scrappy supplies that you'll need, definitely hit up the Scrapbook Nerd shop. Bye guys!